Imagine being diagnosed with cancer at 26 years old. My guest today had that diagnosis and went on to become a multi-award winning singer-songwriter and, of course, a cancer survivor. I am thrilled to introduce JSAL. My name is Peta-Gaye Nash. This is Heart to Art. You don't want to miss her very inspiring story. Welcome, JSAL.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. I know that your story is full of inspiration. Congratulations on your two awards. You won the Marty Award in 2025. Was that for, what was that for?
This was for emerging solo vocalist.
Awesome. And then you won another award through Mississauga Music, also in 2025.
Yes, that's correct. It's the emerging talent of the year.
So I just want to say that your music, I've been listening to it on Spotify, and it is hauntingly beautiful, lyrical, but yet so full of strength and resilience. So let's get started on your journey. How would you describe yourself to people who may not have heard of you before?
Um, I would say the best word is resilient. My journey has been, there's been ups and downs, and going back and looking at where I was versus today. Um, I think the word resilient would be the best way to describe it.
So before your diagnosis, when did you really get started in music? Meaning, when did you realize that you had this talent? A lot of us go through life, our life, we don't even know that we have some major talent, but you discovered this quite early, didn't you?
I did. I had a passion for music since I was 7 years old. I got a gift of a, mini piano that my parents brought, and I, started playing some tunes, and I realized that I was really into the instrument, and I think my parents noticed that I was, playing songs that I just, heard by ear, and that encouraged them to put me into formal piano education. And then vocally, I joined the school choir at that time, and then I also had the interest of singing. So I also enrolled in formal vocal lessons, and then following music theory, and did some certifications for those. I think that was like throughout the years as I was growing up during high school as well.
Mhm.
So I did get a few classical certifications as part of the program that I enrolled in. They are internationally recognized, which is really cool. But it was all classical. So I also was doing uh, um, or let's say I was participating in different church choirs, and I had a interest in also performing at wedding ceremonies, which is something I've been doing ever since as well. But I think it was just more of something that I, use as a, refuge whenever I wanted to kind of, um, after school or, studying, I wanted to kind of, de-stress. That was kind of like my place to go. But it wasn't anything like big for me. I had the interest in live performance and stage. And as I was a kid, I used to play um, as this, young kid who's performing on stage. And we used to, my cousins and I and my siblings used to like do like mini home concerts. But I never understood that I never reflected on that until I guess later in, in my life. But again, all of my interests were, or my education were focused in the classical genre. Um, and not until my cancer diagnosis, which really changed my entire approach and interest in music. So I,
How did that happen? I mean, I just think that a lot of us feel that we have, you know, a lifetime to accomplish things. And then you got this diagnosis. How did that change you and change your art?
yeah, so it brought a big or different perspective to what art, how art can be used, I think is where what it is. So I used to, during my diagnosis, I used to journal as a way to cope. The journals were transformed into lyrics. And from during my journaling, because um, I'm reflecting this on also what I used to do when I was a kid. I used to try to like, write lyrics, and that's how I used to journal as well in a way, but nothing to the extent of how I used that uh, tool until, my diagnosis, where I was actually doing a lot of it. Like, you know, uh, and the amount of journaling I've done and the lyric writing started off as, I'm just writing my thoughts, and it was just helping me cope. But then all of a sudden I'm singing melodies, and all of a sudden I am trying. And one of the stories that I like to talk about, and on all also is the foundation of my first debut single, "Be Invincible," is I was lying in an MRI machine, unsure what's next. And I was freaking out, like, what are these, like, crazy beeps around me? I was really scared, and honestly, I was not sure what's next for me. I was not like, I was in this denial mode. But as I was um in this machine, I decided to take my fear into a different perspective. Like, instead of thinking about the beeps and my diagnosis and all that, I'm gonna try to create melodies of the lyrics that I wrote through my journaling. And I started humming "Be Invincible." And that's kind of how it came to be. And I'm like, you know what, there is power in music. And I vowed that if I, make it, that I'm gonna make sure my music, you know, is basically released, and it's not just to myself, because um, I really felt the strength and the courage to be able to go through that MRI machine, and then through my treatment as well throughout. So
Mhm.
um, I really felt the power, and from that moment, and that shifted my entire perspective about music. Made me realize that music is not just, you know, well, it is entertainment, but it could be, it's beyond. For me, it's actually a tool for healing, for power,
Mm.
for refuge, for overcoming challenges. Um, and I feel that's now my mission, is to be able to show people the power of music and how art can be a tool for healing. And um, I hope
Absolutely, it can. Mhm.
I hope to be able to do that, as what it is. But yeah, that's really what started my official music career.
Mhm.
Um, and it led to the following singles that are released, and each one has its own story and time, but all coming again rooted from my journaling. Is what how it all started.
That's incredible. So I have a few of your songs added to my I call it my inspiration playlist on Spotify. And they say older people only stick to their music, but their own music, but it's definitely mixed in with a lot of 70s and 80s, but it is
Love
there.
that.
So I hope that our listeners will look you up. That's JSAL, everyone, JSAL, and look her up on Spotify and add her songs to your playlist. So when you say that you did it for healing at first, did you ever feel that time is running out and you needed to push to
Yeah.
advance yourself,
Mhm.
not advance yourself, I don't think that sounds right, but to accomplish what you feel that you came into the world to do in a quicker way?
It's a good question. Well, I actually lived my entire life rushing everything I do in my life. So I feel I feel like actually this is might sound strange, but my cancer diagnosis made me slow down.
Interesting.
And it might and again it might sound very strange, but I actually um approach life a lot differently. I used to rush to things. I used to think that time is running out and I need to I without that's even before my, diagnosis, I used to think that way. And that really did not um, make me feel good about myself because I felt like I'm always short, far away from accomplishing things. But I realized going back to my cancer diagnosis, it made me realize the importance of time, importance of slowing down and taking things a step at a time. Because as I'm going through treatment, I had to slow down. I had to be easy on myself. I had to I realized even the phases of my treatments, it showed me how a step at a time can get me to a goal. Rushing to things can, you know, um, can just be overwhelming. And one of the things I kind of started to do as I was going through treatments is I put a plan to myself. I'm like, sometimes a lot of people don't see light during these treatments, and I wasn't at certain points. But I, to be able to help myself heal and be able to, be cancer free, I needed to work on that mindset and be more positive. So I put a plan to myself after I'm done with all these treatments, what am I going to do next? My music career was my number one. I also was thinking about, life is too short at the same time, and I want to accomplish what I really wanted to do in life. And again, music was on the top of the list. I decided to take all of what I wrote into action and started working with, professionals to learn the industry, to grow in it, connected with many professionals locally and internationally. Um, and I wrote the song Inner Flame as part of that journey, reminding that, we should allow um, ourselves to follow our passions no matter what. And it really, my cancer journey really gave me that courage to actually follow my dreams. I don't think I would be doing music, honestly, without my cancer diagnosis, because it really pushed me out of my comfort zone. It taught me how to plan, to take things, you know, to rush less, to understand the value of a step-by-step approach, and have the determination to follow dreams no matter what. Because again, life is short. No one knows what could happen at the same time. Um,
Don't know. No one knows when their time will come.
exactly.
Sounds like you got laser focused on what you really want to do in this life. And most of us put off what we really love doing until sometimes it is too late.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
It's like you,
And
in a way, as strange as that might sound, but it was a real gift for you.
I would say so. I agree.
Wow. So what's next for you?
Um, so right now I've been working on the album release in early 2026. And and it's called Rising Phoenix. And I'm the Phoenix um uh mythical concept is something that I feel I'm gonna adopt as part of my artistry because it really resembles my journey in the sense of the rebirth. I feel like I was reborn after my cancer journey. I feel like I'm a new person. Um, I feel more, I have more purpose. I want to be able to help people rise and see this because, to be honest, it's not easy to see light during these times. And a lot of there are different, you know, outcomes to people going through these treatments. Like, but how do we take the most out of a dark situation and helping or navigating through it and seeing the positive in the negative or in the dark, a light in the dark is something I'm hoping to help others navigate. And that's what I want to use my voice for. I want to be able to speak um, forth that, mission, be the voice of cancer survivors and anyone going through a tough situation. And it's something that I'm still in the works of building. I want to be able to build my audience and, or let's say, a tribe, um,
And I
following that same pathway. So, and um, yeah, that's really what I hope to do. I really hope to inspire um, others to see the light in any dark situation they're going through. And the album will be the Kickstarter of that, hopefully. I'm planning to do a launch event and a mini tour that um, I'll be announcing in early January. And yeah, and hopefully more to come following. Yeah.
So, from what I've heard, cancer treatment can be incredibly uncomfortable, painful, even debilitating.
Yeah.
You push through all of that and still manage to be creative. And I mean, what would you tell someone else who was going through the same thing? Was it the journaling that helped you? Was it the refocusing from the discomfort into something creative that helped you with this?
The way I manage through all the treatments is that I still try to keep myself going in terms of work, whatever like I was not over exhausting myself, but whatever I was doing prior to my diagnosis, I was still doing in terms of work wise. I I would say in terms of creativity though, um, creativity sparks um, are different in different times, but um, journaling was my definitely my biggest aspect that really helped me stay creative and full and also expand beyond what I could have imagined. Um,
Love that.
but I would say when we are going through a tough time and we're feeling different things, this is sometimes the best time to, you know, put it on paper
Mm.
because it I used it not as a way, I was not thinking I need to write music or I need to be creative because that was not the purpose of this exercise completely. It was more like, I need to let it all out. I need to speak about it. I need to, whatever I was feeling, I needed to have have it somehow released.
Mhm.
That's all what my focus was.
Okay.
If I'm feeling something, I didn't want to, I kept telling myself, I don't want to keep it to myself because it's not good, it's not healthy.
Mm.
I wanted a tool to let it out, and journaling was my go-to. There's a lot of different tools and ways for creatives to do this, but for me, it was a pen and a paper, and here it is. And I had my piano also sometimes. I used to just play instrumental improvs as well. But journaling was my first start, and it helped me put my words out. And piano also then followed from linking the melodies to and how the improv or my playing that I did kind of linked to the lyrics that I wrote. That's kind of how it happened.
Mhm.
It wasn't intentional. It wasn't like I want to write a song. I didn't think about it that way at all. It was just more like, how do I release my feelings out, in a healthy way.
I have
And that's kind of how it came to be. But I'm sure there's so many different ways for creatives to do this. It just, I guess, what's the simplest way for someone to, do that is, I think, what could be considered, right? It just that's kind of just from my experience and how I really handled it. Um, but I did, going back to what I said at the beginning, what also helped me do this is that I tried to maintain as much as possible for my life. I know a lot of people when they go through cancer, they just stop working. It's all like uh, a choice at the end of the day. But for me, I felt like I wanted to still feel some elements of normality in
Mm.
my life that could keep me um grounded in that sense. I
Mhm.
did not go like I used to be a workaholic. I tried to actually lessen that down, be more intentional, still feel normal at the same time. Um, Still I'm going through all these treatments, but then the journaling um kind of helped ease out um what I was feeling, and then all of a sudden I have songs.
a bit of a strange way out there question, but when you do something creative, how it's healing, and you do something and you just feel like your soul is soaring. Do you feel that because you were doing all this creative work, you actually, it sounds weird, but maybe healed yourself? Not just with the positive thinking, but they say there's a really strong mind-body connection that we don't even know about yet. And I guess what I'm trying to ask in a inarticulate way is, do you feel that this creative journey of yours while you're going through the cancer treatment contributed to you being in remission now, possibly?
Yeah, it's a big question, and I do believe it is because it was actually told to me by a doctor, um, and it, mental health is as important as physical when you're going through treatments. Like, I'm going through chemotherapy and all these surgeries and all these like radiation and all that. That's one phase of the healing, right? Or like, but how I feel about myself, how I feel during these times, and the mindset I'm in makes also a difference in how well I'm gonna be able how be able to handle and respond to these treatments. And I took that doctor's. advice very seriously. And that's kind of also one of the reasons why I really wanted to learn how to manage all these feelings, and music and my writing did help. I do believe because of how music helped me gracefully and patiently and positively go through all of this. And I was like humming songs here and there during treatments. And I was, you know, crazy enough, like um, feeling better than I would have ever thought I would be during something like this. So definitely, I have a strong belief that music helped me be in remission right now.
Hmm, that is incredible. And Purple Illusion, what is that song about? What does Purple Illusion mean?
So it's a good question. I wrote that song while there was a lot of um, distractions around me as to who I was after my diagnosis, because I felt, and I was writing about it while I was feeling doubts about my own voice. I felt like when I was going through cancer treatments, I felt like I lost my voice, my identity. Um, I felt like I really did not exist anymore. Um, it was weird feelings because, like, I mean, the word cancer was a big word. So, purple is the opposite of yellow in the circle of colors, and I use that as a metaphor to describe uh, the aspect of, how illusion, or the things that we are told about ourselves,
Mhm.
um, can distract us from who we are, and who we and the truth about ourselves. So, um, I've heard a lot of people say, you're not, you can't do this anymore. You're not capable. You know, that does not matter anymore. Um, and also these words made me feel like I'm not enough. I'm not capable. I'm not strong enough. And I was fighting these battles. It felt like a lot of different voices around me. And just when I wrote Purple Illusion, I um, took all these um, words that I heard, and I said, you know what? Goodbye to the master of illusion. And that was part of the chorus. But it was just a reminder that, um, we need to focus on the truth and what's really matters and what's within us. And it really made me forget about what people were saying and focus on who I am and what I want to do, you know. So
So much in such a short time. I am so glad that you shared with us today, that you were vulnerable, that you came on, shared your journey, and you are now an award-winning singer-songwriter. I wish that your music just explodes.
thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Welcome. So you can be found on Spotify, anywhere else?
It's on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, YouTube, Deezer, Amazon Music, etc. And yeah, I'm also on Instagram and TikTok at IAM official.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much, you too. I really appreciate your time.
Pleasure. Take care, JSAL.
Thank you.